Liverpool joins the race to hijack Manchester United's transfer as Romano reveals when £104 million deal could be sealed. Attention fans! Excellent transfer news regarding Mark Ghee coming out of London this afternoon. Newcastle are clearly waiting for something before selling Eich to Liverpool, and it's not a new signing. Hello, Sans! Let's check out today's news about the biggest club in the world. According to reports from the English press, Liverpool have joined Manchester United in the race to sign Carlos Balaba, a young Brighton standout and considered one of the most promising midfielders in the current Premier League. At just 20 years old, the Cameroonian player has already shown personality and maturity on the pitch, attracting interest from several top European clubs. Earlier this week, it emerged that Manchester United had opened talks for the player right after beating Newcastle United in the race for Benjamin Sesko, a striker who became the club's third major signing of the summer after Brian Mbeumo and Matthew Cunha. However, Balaba's potential transfer is expected to be complicated. Recent reports suggest Brighton believed they could sell their valuable asset for around £104 million, a figure considered steep for United's current financial situation, as the club has already spent approximately £200 million this window. It is worth noting that Marcus Rashford has been the only significant departure from the squad, further limiting the budget flexibility for new signings. In addition to United's interest, other giants have also entered the fray. According to Caught Offside, Liverpool and Tottenham have expressed interest in the player and have already taken initial steps to assess a potential bid. Between the two, Liverpool appears to be the stronger contender, especially given their greater financial leeway to complete new deals. The club plans to balance the roughly £150 million already invested this summer with possible sales, such as the likely departure of Harvey Elliott, who could follow the same path as Darwin Núñez, Luis Diaz, and Jarell Quansah, all rumored to be on their way out of Anfield in a squad reshuffle. Liverpool, who have already signed Hugo Kietke, Florian Wirtz, Milos Kerkez, and Jeremy Frimpong, are still looking for reinforcements in several positions and see Carlos Balaba as a key figure for their midfield rebuild. However, Brighton have no intention of selling him this summer, and a transfer is only expected to take place next year, possibly after the World Cup. Liverpool emerges as one of the leading contenders to secure the signing of English defender Mark Ghee in this summer transfer window. The potential deal, however, is directly tied to the feasibility of the player leaving Crystal Palace, something that is not yet certain. Strengthening the defense remains one of the Merseysiders' priorities, as the club currently has only 3 experienced options in the position, a situation that increases the urgency for new signings in the backline. While Ghee is not seen as the ideal long-term replacement for Virgil van Dijk, the defender is widely recognized for his solidity, technical ability, and potential to make an immediate impact in slot squad. According to Mike McGrath of The Telegraph, Liverpool's path to reaching an agreement for Ghee may be more open than initially thought. Chelsea, another club previously linked with the player, is expected to focus on other targets, despite the recent injury to Levi Colwill. This reduces direct competition and boosts Liverpool's chances of progressing in talks. Ghee's contract with Crystal Palace runs until 2026, which would normally increase the transfer fee. However, estimates indicate the cost would not be prohibitive for the Anfield side. Even so, Crystal Palace are unlikely to make his departure easy. Ghee is considered a key player in Oliver Glasner's system, and if the London side succeed in their legal battle at the Court of Arbitration for Sport to participate in the Europa League this season, their resistance to any offer will likely increase. Palace view this as a crucial season, with a rare opportunity to compete for a Champions League spot in 2026-27, an objective that, financially, outweighs the potential loss of the player for free at the end of his contract. Liverpool, for their part, also have reasons to act quickly. The uncertainty surrounding Ibrahima Konaté's contract renewal amid interest from Real Madrid adds another layer of urgency to their defensive planning. The possibility of losing a key defender in the near future means that signing Ghee is seen not only as an immediate reinforcement, but also as a strategic move to ensure stability and quality in the backline for years to come. With the transfer market in full swing and clear needs identified, stepping up their pursuit of the English defender could be decisive in solidifying Liverpool's defensive strength both in the short and long term. Liverpool is running out of time to agree on a high fee with Newcastle for Alexander Isak, their top striker target after selling Darwin Núñez. Newcastle is reluctant to sell their leading scorer from the past 2 seasons and has reportedly told Isak he won't be allowed to join Liverpool this summer. While negotiations stall and a public relations battle unfolds, Isak's behavior suggests he is unlikely to play for Newcastle again, though reintegration remains difficult. The Swedish forward was left out of Newcastle's friendly against Espanyol at St. James's Park on Friday and will likely also miss the game against Atletico Madrid on Saturday. Among some Liverpool fans, the move has already started to feel inevitable. Clearly, Newcastle needs to find a replacement, but that is not, without a doubt, the only or main reason for their reluctance to sell Isak, especially to Liverpool. If this has been discussed by Newcastle and Liverpool, it may also be in the Reds' interest to wait. Of course, Liverpool want Isak as soon as possible, but given the good relationship between Richard Hughes and Eddie Howe, perhaps a deal has been reached. Having Isak back at St. James's in 2 weeks would be incredibly toxic. While this benefits no one, Isak himself or Newcastle, who obviously want to avoid the situation, it could also hurt Liverpool. St. James's Park can be a difficult place to visit even in the best of times, especially on an early evening for the season opener. Add Isak to the mix, and it might be impossible for the Reds to calm the atmosphere. Besides this, although there are undoubtedly other factors at play, it could be argued that this stark confrontation between the two parties is having a greater impact than expected. We wouldn't expect anything to be resolved before or immediately after the 25th of August. The last few weeks have been filled with intense speculation about Isak's future, with the striker notably excluded from Newcastle's preseason tour in Asia and forced to train alone after the squad's return. I have already made several videos about this great player because I really like him and believe the club would improve significantly with the signing. The Reds have already had a $148 million offer for Isak rejected this summer. With Newcastle determined not to sell the 25-year-old forward, it is expected that Isak will remain a Magpie until the transfer window closes on September 1st. Multiple sources have vehemently denied any informal agreement for Isak's departure this summer, and the club insists it was never informed last season that Isak intended to make this his final year at Tyneside. There is also frustration over Liverpool's approach, especially the confusion around last week's bid, which was far below Newcastle's $202 million valuation. It remains unclear whether Liverpool are ready to give up this summer. Considering Isak's current mindset, the club may still see an opportunity to test Newcastle's resolve with another British record offer. However, it has been widely reported that the Reds will not make another bid unless the Magpies open the door. If Liverpool are willing to wait to secure Isak, the club could potentially sign the 25-year-old at a lower price in the future if a release clause is negotiated. Thank you very much for watching until here. See you next time.